Hey y'all, it's me caveman. Today I'm going to be reading the 11th episode of Kemurikusa, and wow! I never thought that this episode was going to be as amazing as what we got this week, but holy shit, this episode justified my expectations because, for one, I never really thought that Wakaba was going to be this important, because when this episode revealed that it was actually Wakaba that built the freaking islands, and he also is the one who essentially helped pretty much also do a lot of the research for the Kemurikusa and all that kind of jazz. And then he also was the one who seemingly was the one who helped, who pretty much built up the white bots. That was some pretty epic shit. So I like it because at the very least it gives us some characterizations when it comes to Wakaba. It explains why he always had a fondness for bots, why the bots seemingly latched onto Wakaba and liked him, and it explains why Wakaba all this time had all this interest in Kemurikusa, because in the flashback it showed that he was a researcher of Kemurikusa, and he was researching the plant life of the earth and all that, and he was helping rebuild cities along the way while researching. But here's the thing, the kicker though, he was an adult, so that all this was immensely interesting, and it was fucking mind blowing. But you know what, I loved it because it helps explain why Wakaba was able to like open the blue walls with his fingers and all that, showing off that all this time it really wasn't any kind of ass pull. It was because of Wakaba's past, because he was a scientist and all that. So that was some cool ass information. And I also like how this episode showed us the first person, which was Riri, and I like how they finally explained why Ritsu, Ryoko, the Rinas, Rin were brought into existence, because apparently Riri wanted to help out Wakaba, because in the past there have been people that pretty much try to research the Kemurikusa, but they pretty much overexert themselves, so to try to help out Wakaba so that Wakaba doesn't possibly die of overexerting himself researching Kemurikusa, Riri tries to make this kind of Kemurikusa that can cancel out other Kemurikusas, but she accidentally makes the first red root in the first tree, and it pretty much wreaks havoc. And then Wakaba pretty much, in the past, adult Wakaba sacrificed himself, but then he says he might see Riri later in the future, in like a few years. So that brings up a few questions as to like, so if that's the case, then I wonder, would adult Wakaba still be on that red route, and the current day Wakaba is actually some kind of clone or what? That brings up a lot of good questions. But at the very least, we got more answers than questions this week, because at the very least we find out that Riri's the one who splits up, and that's how come we got to the girls like Rin, Ritsu, Ryoko, and all that jazz. And I fucking loved finding that out, because it explains why in the open we see like this one leaf split up into 6, and I like how the end of this episode actually transitions to that. So I thought that was marvelous and beautiful in a way, and that explains why each of the girls only has like one acuted sense. So because Riri turns herself into Kemurikusa and splits up. So I like that. And it also makes for some good characterization for the girls. And then aside from that, I also like how in this episode, I like its sense of irony, because in having the best intentions, Riri pretty much caused shit to hit the fan by accident and made things worse. And it's crazy to feel that the first person, pretty much what our girls were made up of, is the one who caused this incident in the first place. I just find that to be some grand irony. So that is some crazy shit, and it's gonna make the final confrontation feel much more emotional. So that's why I thought this episode did amazing from a story standpoint. It pretty much answered the majority of questions we have I mean, I guess there is some questions as to what happened to Earth, like what happened to most of the human population, but this episode answered the most important questions at the very least, so that's a positive. And it ended, and also aside from making some plot progression, I also loved how this episode also did a great job of ending on an epic cliffhanger when you have this Red Root hating our man Wakaba. I was like, yo, how in the fuck did that even happen? Did that happen while Wakaba was looking at the Rin flashback? Maybe Wakaba didn't have his guard up, and that's how he got hit by the Red Root. Who knows? But our girl is gonna be in deep shit, Rin, if she's by herself. My goodness, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. So this episode also had a nice setup for next week, and from a character standpoint, it did wonders for Wakaba's character. At least now we know why Wakaba acts the way he does for the most part. So it did amazing from that standpoint. Animation was pretty damn good in the flashback because I like how they used the darker colors as things became darker and darker, and it just made it feel much more tragic when it became red, and that's when you know shit went real. So I thought the animation usage was good. Art was good because Riri was pretty expressive. Same with Wakaba, and it really made it feel emotional when Riri knew she fucked up and she pretty much admitted her mistake, and then Wakaba admitted his mistake in the flashback on not taking the time to analyze Riri's emotions, and that was pretty sad to see them split up in such terrible circumstances, honestly. And the art helped contribute to the emotional factor too. And I gotta say, this episode was marvelous. And taking all these factors into consideration, I'm gonna rate this episode a 10 out of fucking 10. This episode deserved it. And I cannot wait to see more. My goodness. Hopefully Wakaba doesn't die next week, but I don't know. The fucking death flags. So anyways, guys and gals, these are my thoughts on the 11th episode. Comment down your thoughts in the comment section below. Rate the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. If you subscribe for more, because I'm definitely going to be reacting to it and reviewing it. Bye-bye.